Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Northeast Ohio High School Football Rivalries. The latest book from veteran author Vince McKee takes you behind the scenes of some of the biggest moments in Ohio high school football history. McKee has every big rivalry covered, from the Holy War to the Silver Rail. You can find Northeast Ohio High School Football Rivalries anywhere books are sold or online at Amazon.com. Gable's Search Group. Founded in 2002, they help companies find candidates for most of their open positions nationwide. Gable Search Group is a professional placement firm located in Willoughby and only 20 minutes from the heart of Cleveland, Ohio. They specialize in areas of accounting, finance, legal, sales and marketing, information technology, engineering, and a host of other personnel. Their company can place an individual on a permanent or temporary basis nationwide. You can find out more about them today by visiting www.gablesearch.com or calling 440-951-9990. Start your career today with Gable Search Group. Airport Go-Kart. If you're looking for a fun time with your kids or friends, then head over to Airport Go-Kart at 16208 Brook Park Road in Cleveland. It's fun for everyone involved at a next to nothing price.
It's officially week 2 of the high school football season, live on the Keon Sports YouTube channel from Brunswick Auto Mart Stadium. Cole McDaniel alongside Dom Clary and Brandon Soder once again handling the technology, handling the camera duties for us this evening. Great three-man crew out here once again. I know we love to have the three of us out here, and we got a good one tonight as the Brunswick Blue Devils host the visiting Olmsted Falls Bulldogs. Dom, great to be with you. I know how it is. You love football season. You get excited coming up here. Maybe not loving coming all the way up the steps here on the home side, but I'm sure you're getting a little bit excited about this game as both teams run out of the tunnel.
You know, I love coming out here to Brunswick, aside from the steps all the way up to Mount Everest. But, I love the uniforms. The crowd here is always great. The student body's great. But they're also going against a school that I also love going to as well, Olmsted Falls Bulldogs. They have a great student body. The supporters are great there, too. They're almost equal. Brunswick just a little bit of a bigger of a school. Cool, I'm excited. We got college football on tomorrow, high school football on tonight. Nebraska, Northwestern, and in Ireland.
Right.
I don't know why they're in Ireland, but they're in Ireland. So, I'm really pumped today. Football season was around the corner. Now we're about to get into it. These two teams, we're going to have a great game here today, Cole.
And before we talk about these two teams, a reminder for everybody watching this one, watching and listening live, make sure to share this stream that's currently up so everybody out there can view it if they're not here at this game. It's a beautiful evening. Again, for everybody who watches this back, gets the playback as well. Parents, players out there on the field, again, happy to have you be able to watch here on our Keon Sports channel. But make sure to subscribe to that channel so we can continue to grow it, continue to make our high school football coverage that much better. Again, if you can subscribe, again, that helps us here at Keon Sports. Well, taking a look at this game, Brunswick, we'll start with the home team. They come into this one with an overall record so far of 0-1 after a 43-13 loss at Cleveland Heights. But that is a tough Cleveland Heights team. Very loaded, really on both sides of the ball. Our own Tony Bogan was there covering that story. Had some video coverage up there, some content that went on YouTube as well. So we got to see a little bit of what happened in that game, and I would assume Brunswick's going to try to run the ball a lot, but they're going to try to rebound here against the Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs that they're trying to rebound against, last season, Brunswick opened up the year 0-1. But then they responded in week 2 at Olmsted Falls with a 28-21 win. So they're going to look to do much of the same here at home, but the Bulldogs will want revenge.
Yeah, that's a much different team that we have here today. We have a new man at the helm at quarterback. Running back is still the same. So it's going to be interesting will we see a drop-off in production on offense? I don't think we will. It's a well-coached team. They have good leaders. I think that we're going to see a tough Brunswick team and a tough Olmsted Falls team once again. Cool, this should be a great week 2 matchup.
And as we're about to get this one underway, kicking off from left to right on your screen, Bulldogs boot this one down. It's going to be fielded just at about the 7-yard line. Some room to run, getting out to the near side of the field, past the 20, past the 25 to the 30, and pushed out at about the 35-yard line. Fielding that one there was James Toomey, the senior, and showed his elusiveness there and decent field position starting for this Brunswick Blue Devils offense.
This offense, I'm kind of interested in what we're going to see, and some of the visuals that we saw from last week's game here for Brunswick. They very much had a type of option offense, quarterback run heavy. Quarterback scored their 2 lone touchdowns. So I'm interested to see, will they spread the ball out a little bit, or will they continue this option run?
First snap of the game, here's a handoff up the middle. Brandon Nichols, and the senior running back, one of the guys to watch for the Brunswick offense. I expect a very run-based attack between him and new sophomore quarterback Ethan Roxandich. Goes by the Rock, that's what his teammates call him. What a great nickname, but we saw his ability, his physicality as well when he runs the football. Had a nice touchdown against Cleveland Heights last week. So expect those two to look to try to do some damage up against a very physical front for the Bulldogs.
2 touchdowns, a 44-yard touchdown run and a 38-yard touchdown run. He's very quick. He can get out in space.
Some movement up front. And I think that's going to be the Bulldogs jumping off sides, and it is. So back up the Bulldogs, and a little bit of a gimme there for the Blue Devils. And taking a look at some of their other key players, mentioned Roxandich and Nichols in the backfield, but also pay attention to wide receiver number 1, Cade Som. He's out there on the far side of the field right now, a very shifty receiver, got a lot of touches in the games we covered last year. And wide receiver number 2, Jack Safko, senior, lined up in the slot. And those are 2 guys to really keep your eye on. Here in motion, Roxandich has some room to run up the middle, follows his blocker, that's Safko. And it takes 2 tacklers there to drag him down finally at the 43-yard line of the Bulldogs' first drive and first time now in Bulldogs territory. Good start.
You know, I like that play there. It was not an option. He pulled way before the wide receiver was there. So what we do there with that motion that we just saw is that we're going to shift the defense over kind of away from where we want to run the ball. We're moving the defense outside to the right and we're running the ball inside. You're removing a defender almost. It's like a block without ever touching that defender. Motion is something that every offense should utilize, and Brunswick plans on doing it every chance they get. And it showed right there with a big run.
Nichols, the sidecar to the left of Roxandich. In motion, the handoff up to about the 40-yard line. And that is James Toomey. Again, you'll see a lot of him at defensive back. You saw him on that kick return and coming across, getting the handoff there. And some nice running so far and what we expected from the attack. We don't expect them to go to the air nearly as much as they did last season. Sticking to what they did in week 1, why abandon it? Again, you had some big plays, you had some positive plays. Obviously, Cleveland Heights just maybe a little bit too much, but no need to abandon the game plan for the season.
Well, it was more than just not getting offense to go. They were fumbling, there were mistakes on kickoff and kickoff return. It was more than just offensive production.
Hand off again to Nichols. Not much of anything. See a marker there on the far side of the field, and we'll get the word on this flag here in just a moment. But looking at the visiting Olmsted Falls Bulldogs, and they also come into this one with an overall record of 0-1 after a tough 14-7 loss at Chardon. That one was an interesting one just because you have a D2 team that made a very long run in the playoffs last season, had a really solid season going up against a Chardon team that on a 28-game win streak and now 29 games after beating Olmsted Falls. And Chardon, you know, of course, that means with that win streak, they won the state championship for Division III last year. So I was there, so was Vince McKee. I was on the sideline for that one. Chardon's a tough team, so very defensive battle, and our own Tyler Baca was there. He covered that story and said it was a good one. It was definitely, could have gone either way. It just so happened to be on the road the Bulldogs fell, but we know that defense has the ability. They have the physicality because we've seen it in past years. That front seven's tough. Here's the snap. Looking back to pass. First throw of the game and lofted up there in an interception for the Bulldogs, and a great start for the visitors. Coming down with that one is number 3, Mark Vance, the senior defensive back. And the Bulldogs will now take possession of the football. Just under 9 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. And wow, Dom, I'll tell you what, you know, first pass of the game, that's not what you want for the sophomore quarterback. But Roxandich, you saw who he's looking for, had a man on that sideline, but again, maybe should have rifled that one in. Maybe find his guy, lead him to the outside of the field, put that too close to the inside. It was easy for the defensive back to come across.
Well, that's where he's lacking experience, right? A senior, we probably would have seen that pass a little sooner, predicted a little bit sooner, got it in there. He kind of was thinking, let him finish his route, let's lead him a little bit, let him too much. That's a fantastic play there by number 3, Mark Vance. He read that. That's a senior defensive back.
And again, expect a lot of runs here in this game as well for the Bulldogs. With that offense that you love, and Michael Candow gets the handoff. One run and a first down already. Big play, picking up about 11 yards there.
You know, I talked about this last year. Some of the toughest teams I played against as a defender in high school were wing T teams. Played against Wilmington High School in Pennsylvania, powerhouse. They've never ran anything else other than the wing T, and this is why. And they ran the option as well from the wing T. You never know who's going to have the ball. It's 2 yards in a cloud of dust, but the way Olmsted Falls plays, it's 40 yards in a cloud of dust.
That it is. Here's a handoff up the middle. Pincheck has a little bit of room to run and maneuvers his way through past the 40-yard line, setting up a 2nd and 5. And Dom, I know you love watching the Bulldogs just run that offense. Enjoy going out to their home games as well. We'll have a few that will be at Olmsted Falls as well. Also a couple on the slate here at Brunswick this year. So both teams we're going to get very familiar with, or we're going to see them 3 times a piece this season through the regular season. Here's a snap. A keeper, room to run, out past the 45-yard line and drugged down at about the 42. And you see a quarterback, number 9 once again, but no longer Charlie Ciolik, who last year was a senior. Really good with his decision making and just keeping possession of the football and not making mistakes. Now you see a sophomore quarterback, James Rosel, in there. Again, still that number 9 at QB, and so far a good start for him. But a matchup between 2 sophomore quarterbacks in this one. Here's the pitch. Rocco Conti, a star of that Bulldogs team, a guy to watch out for. You know he's going to get a lot of touches playing at that wing back position, a lot of times lined up just on the edge of the line, and you'll see him getting the pitch going either direction, and he is such a dangerous weapon. He's almost impossible to stop.
You know what I have for my notes for Rocco Conti? In all caps, kid is a beast.
That he is. And I know really for the last 2+ seasons already, I mean, he's made a name for himself, and he's going to get the touch here again. And if Brunswick wants a chance at stopping the Bulldogs when they're on defense, you have to shut down Conti, make Pinchek beat you, make Kandow beat you, make some of those other guys beat you in this game, because you know Conti's that guy who his name is circled on that scouting report. Third and 3 now. Just over 6 minutes left to go here in the first quarter. There's going to be a timeout for the home squad. Brunswick takes their first timeout of this one, and so far we're seeing that movement that the Bulldogs would want on offense. Now, something I noted that was going to be interesting to pay attention to, Dom. So at fullback, and that's such an important position, especially in short yardage situations, when it's goal to go, you'll see the Bulldogs will like to hand it off up the middle to a fullback, a big physical fullback, really hit pay dirt as well. The other thing, too, is as they take it and really get things spread out and they move the ball outside the hashes, then once the defense starts to open up, then that's when they use that fullback up the middle. And somebody who had been a wingback for years, but now looks like he's put on some weight, put on some size. Interesting to see Jack Pinchek now with his hand in the dirt rather than being opposite of Rocco Conti at wingback. So that's a really interesting development there, but he looks a lot bigger down there on the field than he did last season even.
You know, that's what we thought before the game. We talked about Pinchek was going to be opposite of Conti. That hasn't been the case. Hand in the dirt. And sometimes those are our favorite runners, right? The ones with the hand in the dirt, able to get the ball and run 3 people over. I'd say it's an interesting development, but I mean, he's been in the weight room, and you can tell from all the way up on the top of the mountain here in the press box.
He has, and he gets, pulls that. Kandow gets it on the pitch, and that was a really smart read there from Rosel, and really thought that was going to go to Pinchek right there, but they get the first down, continue to move the chains. But we mentioned that fullback position. 2 years ago, it was Andrew Parkowski, who Vince always laughed. I referred to him as Peyton Hillis. Very physical runner. And then it was Clay Vormelker. Now Pinchek, and that one thrown up and nearly intercepted. Broken up there by number 7, Diego Castillo. And he was lurking as that was thrown in the direction of Kandow.
I mean, that's just fantastic defense, just being able to read the eyes there. Castillo just able to follow the eyes of a young quarterback, know where the wide receivers are. There's not too many people going out for a pass in this offense. You find the 2, read the eyes, get to where you think the ball's going to go, make a play. He did, almost hauled it in.
Under center. Rosel pulls this one. He's got room to run on the keeper. Up past the 20, past the 15, and drug down just right about at the 15-yard line. Moves the chains once again and sets up a 1st and 10. And so this first trip to the red zone here on KeonSports.com, the Keon Sports YouTube channel, is brought to you by Kelly McLean Achievement Center. Visit them online at kelly-mac.com. Now a power eye look here, bringing in the really big fullback, 205 pounds, Derek Necker, leading the way for Rocco Conti, and that's a different look than we saw last year. We never saw them to go to a power eye at all, but to have Pinchek not be back there, move out wide, and then you put in a bigger fullback, the junior, and Necker, that might be something that could be interesting to pay attention to.
So it kind of looks like a single back, right? But it almost kind of looks like a single wing, kind of. So instead of the two wings, you have the one, but they have two wide receivers out. So it's almost a combination of the both formations there.
Here's the handoff to the big fullback up the middle. Little bit of room to run. Not too much there. Gets up near the marker, just going to be about 3rd and short now. And maybe only half a foot away there from moving the chains.
Wonder if they get back to their normal offense or if they continue to kind of spread it out a little bit but still have a compact. It's weird to say they're spreading it out but also compact at the same time. It's like this is the only team in the country that could spread it out, but they're also so compact still. It's really unique what they do. We got the double wings there, fullback.
Pinchek directly behind. Conti in motion. Needs some help from his blockers, but he gets forward, gets 2 yards and plenty of room there. And now that sets up 1st and goal from the 3.
You know, I know you used Peyton Hillis as a reference to a former fullback.
Yep.
But with the way Conti runs, almost, and this is my Pittsburgh Steeler preference coming out, almost kind of like a Jerome Bettis, or I forget his first name, but Stanley. He's an offense coordinator for the Lions now.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they both ran was that it seemed like they only got 2 yards, but they're like 12 yards down the field. That's how Conti runs.
Here's the snap. Conti once again, and Conti bottled up. Great job by the Brunswick defense, and the offensive line met him, and finishing him off was number 8, Chase Buckner, the senior. I got to say, though, I don't think Conti's as big as the bus, though.
No, not at all.
I see your comparison the way he runs, but definitely not as big as the bus.
Well, it's almost that, like, you could see Conti almost having a stat line. He plays to the next level of, like, 0 yards, 5 touchdowns type of offense.
Here's the pitch to Candow. He's got some room to run. He dives for the end zone and lunging forward down at the 1-yard line. 3rd and 1.
I mean, I was told in high school when you're on defense, you want them to drive. You don't want them to have a quick, offense, right? You don't want 4 plays. You want to see 10, 12 plays. Be able to kind of slow them down. But this will not be able to happen all game if you're Brunswick.
Here's a snap. Hand off to Pinchuk up the middle, and Pinchuk might be stopped. Lunged forward, but got his legs wrapped up, and he is going to be wrapped up. Only got half a yard off of that, and now it is 4th and goal, Brunswick. They're big boys up front with the linebackers crashing down, making a stand against a physical Bulldogs offense.
So I don't know if you saw, one of the coaches just laid on the ground on all 4s, showing, I want you crawling, linebackers going over. That's what we used to do in high school. That's really common, right, when you're going against a team that likes to put it up the middle. You're going to see the defensive linemen on all 4s. They're basically going to crawl. Linebackers make a play.
Conti in motion, pushing forward, and he gets the push from behind, and that help gets him in for 6. 6-0 Bulldogs, and they capitalize on a Brunswick turnover.
Who was that? Rocco Conti, right?
Yes, it was Rocco Conti.
I mean,
got a little push from behind as well.
Who else would it be, right? I mean, it took you 4 tries, but that's you expect nothing else from the Bulldogs.
Right.
This team's tough, physical. You know, both teams, they both bent there, but they didn't break, right? Brunswick, that's really encouraging. That defense was strong. You didn't let them push you around, but Olmsted Falls, keep on moving, keep on chugging forward. I mean, they just don't slow down. But we'll see what happens next possession. Brunswick, you need to respond now.
After that touchdown, the kick by number 8, Noah Minadeo, the senior kicker, had that one hanging up, and it went a little wide left. So score remains 6-0 in favor of the Bulldogs.
You know, we talked about it last week. Special teams, they're the deciding factor in games.
Right.
I know to a novice fan, you sit there, oh, I'm going to go get a drink during this, or I'm going to go to the restroom. I don't care about the field goal, about the punt. But that's how teams win championships. Some of the best teams that we've ever seen at any level of football, special teams have been some of the strongest play. The Bears, the one year, went to the Super Bowl because they had Devin Hester.
Well, yeah.
Right? I'm
true.
pretty sure they had a good punter. They had a decent – I think Robbie Gould might have been the kicker at the time. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, but their quarterback was Rex Grossman.
I forgot who Rex Grossman is, and I saw him play my entire life. So he's not one of those quarterbacks you talk about forever, but that special teams unit was. So that's why I like to emphasize it so much. A good special teams unit can win you games, crucial games.
Kick from left to right on your screen, up and fielded at the 7-yard line by Nichols. Nichols getting out past the 20, making a man miss, past the 25, and drug out of bounds at about the 28. We'll see where they spot him. Actually, they're going to say he might have stepped out closer to the 24. It looked like he made it a little farther than that.
He can break one this year.
He could.
You know, sometimes you can tell what returners can break one. He's one of those kids that has a vision for it, has that breakaway speed. Because speed doesn't decide that. It's so many other things. Sometimes you got to get a little lucky too. But he's going to find a way to get in the end zone on a kickoff return this year.
You know, here's something that the Bulldogs defense has done well the last couple years. I've been impressed with their secondary usually. Their DBs get across the field and cover ground pretty quickly. I'm Brunswick. I'm not testing the secondary right now. You're actually removing the ball well. Get back to the ground game. Here's a pass to the flats. Need to make a man miss, and wrapped up for the tackle. Safko, not much room to run as soon as he caught that football.
That was a bubble screen. Not a fan of them. You know, when you have a halfback screen, or sometimes if you have like a jailbreak screen where most of the line comes out and you give it to a wide receiver, I love that name, by the way, jailbreak screen. But usually you have the line going out blocking. Bunch of big boys going down there, going to the smaller guys on the field. There you just have the one wide receiver blocking. You give an opportunity for the rest of the defense to get there if they know what's coming. They're not hard to sniff out. I'm not a big fan of those. Just lost a few yardage on that.
In the gun, looking back to pass out to the far side of the field. In between two receivers there, it looked like Rock Sandich was looking in the direction of Jack Safko, but also had his tight end running underneath number 87, Anthony Washtala, and I just think that was kind of in between them. It was kind of hard to tell who he was aiming for. So after that ball hits the ground, goes incomplete. 3rd and 11 from the 23, 47 seconds left in the first quarter.
That was weird. We had about I think that was a 5 or 6 yard out route. Then you had a player going down straight to the flats, a tight end to the flats. And that's pretty much, I believe that was a flood combination there. I don't think he knew exactly where he was supposed to put it and kind of just put it in between the both of them.
Roxandich back to pass, and that one tipped by a defensive lineman. And that will now result in 4th and 11, and the special teams unit's going to come out on the field for the punt. So a quick 3 and out there right after scoring the touchdown for the Bulldogs, and starting to get momentum going their way here on the road as they're looking to get revenge after last season's loss at home. Back to return. Pinchek and Conti standing at their own 42-yard line. Roxandich also serving as the punter. This one fielded by Conti, going to be great field position as he gets out past the 35-yard line, down at the 34. And already getting pretty close to field goal range there. So after already going up 6-0, Bulldogs have an opportunity to really extend this lead early with the excellent field position.
you know, if you're Brunswick, let's limit them to 3 here, right? You don't want to be down 14-0 to this team because they can just control the clock the rest of the game, no problem. Get a stop here. You've proven that you're able to slow them down. They'll get the stop here. 3 and out would be great here for the Blue Devils.
Officials spotted it directly at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10. Rosol, a little QB sneak up the middle. Nothing like a 5-yard QB sneak there, and that will probably do it for the quarter if they let this clock run down so they can switch sides to the other end of the field. As the play clock ticks to 30 seconds and the game clock down to 15. They might go up to the line of scrimmage here. We'll see if they actually snap this with 10 seconds remaining. And it looks like coach is putting their hands up. So that's going to do it here for the first quarter on Keon Sports on the YouTube channel. Bulldogs lead 6-0. We'll be back at the start of the second quarter.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by All-in-One Services. Mike Zeck brings 37 years of experience with him to every job. Doesn't matter how big or small, Mike Zeck with All-in-One Services is the man to get it done. He can be reached at 919-909-7779 or online at allinoneservices.net. You can also email him pictures of the job needed to mzeck@allinoneservices.net. B.A. Sweetie Candy Company. The world's most famous candy company is right here in our backyard. They are located at 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland, and it is a candy lover's paradise. They have every candy from your childhood, so make sure to visit them today.
And we're back for the start of the second quarter. For everybody watching and listening live here on the YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe to Keon Sports as we continue to grow high school football coverage, not only this year but future years to come. A full slate this regular season with all the games we have that we'll be covering, not only just with the video aspect and being at the games and getting to put this up on YouTube. Also, make sure to pay attention as Tony Bogan, his games that he goes to, he puts video up on the YouTube channel as well. Some little snippets and clips there. We'll be covering all the way through. Also, the state championships as well with writers out there covering at each game. So make sure to pay attention to not only the YouTube channel, but KeonSports.com. 2nd and 5, ball on the 30-yard line. Quick throw out into the flats, and Michael Kandow quickly brought down. Excellent play by the star defensive back, James Toomey. Loss of 2, 3rd and 7 now on the 32.
Oh, 3rd and long here. This is beautiful here for Brunswick because now you're expecting a pass, not the true pass formation here, but there won't be.
And a handoff up the middle, just trying to get a little bit of yardage, and tons of blue jerseys there as the defensive line swarms pin check on that carry, and that now results in a 4th and 6, ball on the 31, and it looks like they were just trying to get a little room there because this was 4-down territory for the Bulldogs. And if you're the Blue Devils, if you can get a stop here on 4th down, now you're talking as momentum was starting to swing a little bit the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs way. Hey, you can get momentum coming back your direction with a huge stop on defense. 2 wide receivers out on the field, split out wide, and the wing backs there, and a timeout now for the Bulldogs as they want to talk this one over. Not too much time ticking away yet in the second quarter before that early timeout, but makes sense as to why the Bulldogs would want to talk this over, because 4th and 6 in a very run-based offense does feel like a little bit of a long 4th down, so not surprised that they want to talk something over. But if you had to take a guess here, Dom, what do you think they're actually going to do here on this play?
So it doesn't look like a punt unit's going. I mean, they actually have the punt unit ready. They have that mat there that they use to get everyone organized. But it looks like the offense is going out there. If I had to guess, I would punt it to pin them but usually when I make predictions like this, I'm usually wrong, and they do exactly the opposite of what I say.
Well,
and they're usually successful in that too.
Yeah, maybe they called the timeout. They're going to go back out there and do that. But why they called that last play to pin check and ran it with him up the middle was to clear a little bit of space, because it seems like they were looking at it as 4-down territory. So running the offense out there once again, just need to talk that over. If I had to take a guess, obviously it seems like they're going to go to the air. Conti's your guy. Conti's your star. He's actually lined up in almost more of a slot position right now. Don't be surprised if he heads out towards the sideline and they look for him. There is Conti. He's open down the field. Another man short. Catch, and looks like the foot is down, and Michael Candow, a big grab and put on the money by James Rosol.
That pass was right on the money. Not a complicated route at all. You know, they have quarterback go out a little bit, have him roll out. 2 options there. Actually 3, 2 short, then 1 deep. Good play call. You expect nothing less from this team.
And not only was Candow open underneath, but Conti actually got open down the field. But throwing across your body a little bit, running to your left would have been tough. Here's the pitch to Conti. Conti's got room to the outside if he can get there, but the speed of the defenders closing in. And that one was really probably shut down there on the outside because of the speed of number 43, Keegan O'Malley, as the linebacker was cruising out to that far side. Made Conti really have to get to that outside sideline, and actually coming in and chopping him down was James Toomey, the defensive back, and he's been all over the field so far in this one. 2nd and 7, ball on the 20-yard line. Handoff up the middle. Pin check, looking for a little bit of room to run. Maybe gets a yard, if that. They're going to say that no gain there, and they still spot him at the 20. So he got spun down, and now a 3rd and 7 for the Bulldogs. So have to give a lot of credit to the Blue Devils. Even on the drive that they gave up the touchdown, they've slowed down the Bulldogs. The closer the Bulldogs get to the end zone, starting to make things a little bit tough for them, congesting that middle of the field.
Oh, yeah, this defense is well coached. They respond well to their coaching. You can tell they're tough. It's just this offense is so hard to stop. You know, they're slowing them down. They just need to get that crucial 4th down stop.
Rosal fakes the pitch. He's got Pinchek wide open. He finds him. Pinchek makes a man miss on that cut. Little stiff arm there and lunges forward past the 10 up to the 8-yard line. And that was an excellent play call and great job by the sophomore quarterback and Rosal to let that one develop a little bit, have the defender start to get off of Pinchek and come after him, and just an easy strike in Pinchek in the open field is dangerous.
You know, it's almost like whoever's quarterback. I mean, we've seen the past, this year and last year. It's like whoever they have a quarterback, the quarterback just knows exactly what they're doing. It's truly incredible how well coached this team always is.
A handoff to Candow, and Candow met 2 blue jerseys up the hole. Not much room there. Now still 2nd and goal from the 8. 8.5 minutes remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Still 6-0 as you see on the scoreboard. Here in the right-hand corner of your screen. And the clock continues to tick down. Two receivers out wide. Rosal under center. Candow in motion. Handoff to the big fullback up the middle. It looks like he's going to get to the end zone, and he does. Derek Nekar, the junior fullback, 6 foot tall, 205 pounds. And they brought him in for that goal to go scenario, and he did not disappoint. Hitting pay dirt now, and it's 12-0 Bulldogs.
You know, they're mixing it up there. They just throw a different fullback in there. You don't know what to expect, and then boom, touchdown. This team is always remarkable to me. Just how many players are so effective on this team. It's almost rare to see that many players on one team contribute the way at the capacity of how they do.
Minadeo, the senior kicker for the Bulldogs. He pulled his first PAT to the left. That time splits the uprights, now 13-0 in favor of the visitors.
For Brunswick, has to be a touchdown drive. I still wouldn't throw the ball the way they were
right.
that last possession. That was a little confusing there for me, but you can't panic. I feel like right now they're, we got to get it all back at once. Be slow with it. Score a touchdown here. You have all game to make up that deficit. Your defense has proven that they're tough, right? They're not bending quite yet, which they might not. But usually that's how it goes. A team like Brunswick that's tough on defense. Olmsted Falls continues to just do their thing, continue pounding the ball on the ground, and eventually the defense breaks. It's just the natural order of things. We see it at every level. This Brunswick team could be a team that won't break, but they need the offense to help a little bit. Keep us off the field. Have a nice little long drive. Let's keep the defense fresh here. Offense has an opportunity for that.
Kick from right to left on your screen, and that one's a low line drive, fielded at the 8-yard line again for Nichols. Nichols had some room, tried to hit that hole as fast as he could, but pushed out of bounds at the 27-yard line. It looks like they're actually maybe going to move it up a little bit. Thought he stepped out closer to the 27. They're going to put it down at about the 29. So a nice return there from Nichols, where it sets up the 1st and 10. And you mentioned it. Don't necessarily need to try to get it all back at once, but actually you're moving the ball better when you are running. And actually it was moving faster. So it might be best to go to the run game, back what you did on the first drive where you're really moving the football until that interception. So you got 2 runners in the backfield in Roxandich and Nichols. Take advantage of what you have. Here's Nichols on the handoff, surges forward, out to the 32. Under 8 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Back in the gun again. Nichols to the right of Roxandich. Roxandich, the keeper, only about 2 yards up the middle. And he hit a wall of white jerseys there, and that was Nakar, the linebacker who scored that touchdown just a moment ago as the fullback. And you saw the power of the big inside linebacker driving back Roxandich, who is a tough quarterback himself, has some decent size, and like we had mentioned, goes by the rock. That's what his teammates call him.
So did you see what that play was? It's like one of my favorite things. They did a double pull. The guard and the tackle went. So the QB had that. It was a QB power. It's just such a beautiful play. But both players moved there. Who will they call it on? I love QB power. Yeah, the guard and the tackle pull. There's nothing more exciting than a tackle pulling because it shows he's athletic. Just being able to run behind those two. Nothing better in football, Cole. Nothing better.
Penalty marker on the field backs up the Bulldogs. Now it will be 3rd and 10. Ball on the 34. Expect the Blue Devils to now go to the air here and watch out for some of those senior receivers. Cade Somm, fairly quiet so far, but big impact last season when we saw him. Also pay attention to Jack Safko as well. Back to pass. Roxandich has some room to run. Met in the hole and nearly goes down. And then going to be a penalty marker, the block at the end, maybe a frustration block there, and might be some unnecessary roughness there going against the offensive lineman for the Blue Devils as he hit Derek Nakar. Thereafter, Nakar nearly made that tackle, which made Roxandich stumble. And now the ball is spotted about half a yard short there of the marker, but we await what the officials call here, and I think this will go against the Blue Devils as they keep pointing that direction. And actually they talked this over. And they point the direction of the Bulldogs, and actually going to back this up as it's going to go against the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs. And hold on, I think the official's talking this over again. I think he pointed the wrong direction.
You know, if they change this, the crowd is going to explode.
Well, we got a pretty packed house tonight, too, as we're over here on the home side. And the whole time they were talking, they were pointing towards the Blue Devils. Head official comes out, points the wrong way. The Bulldogs back up, but I think this is going to go against the Blue Devils. Coaching staff not happy, but they're not changing the call necessarily. He made the mistake of what his other officials actually told him.
Yeah.
And here comes the correction. And it's going to be coming back this way. And now we'll wait as they back up. Maybe some boos from the crowd here in a moment.
None yet. Have they noticed? Here comes the call, and here comes the boos.
Oh, and there's the boos. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming, but it was obvious at the end of that play that it was going to be against the offensive line of the Blue Devils for that late block after the play was already over. And now backed up at their own 24-yard line. It's going to be a 3rd and 15 now for Brunswick. And the clock starts to tick as the little mess down the field has now been cleaned up and all sorted out.
It's 4th down, yeah.
Yep, and it is 4th and 15. So they're going to have to bring out the punting unit, I would assume, here right after this this timeout, talking everything over. And yeah, got that updated on the scoreboard as it is 4th down. So now everything is officially sorted out, and everybody should be on the same page and expect quarterback Rock Sandich deep in his own end to just punt this one away. You know, Dom, isn't it so fun in high school football when you got your quarterback as your punter? You know how dangerous that could be in some scenarios when it gets snapped to your quarterback and you can run some
I got one better
tricks.
for you. My senior year, our starting quarterback got hurt, one of my good friends, right? And before the season started, our tight end is our quarterback. He was also our starting defensive end and long snapper.
This one hangs high up in the air, and Conti calls for a fair catch. And he caught that one at the 48-yard line. And Bulldogs once again with great field position, currently leading 13-0. And with how the way that they move the football, you look at 5 minutes and 41 seconds on the clock, and if they put together a nice sustained drive and get to the end zone again, you'd have to think, unless there's a big play that happens, there very well might not be much time left on the clock here at the end of this half with how they run that clock out and just continue to go ground and pound with their offense.
What is this? Is this a spread? This is some kind of spread. Cool.
It looks like they've got the
oh, no, it's not. I'm fooled.
The fullback and the tailback, your old classic wing T formation there.
And I thought it was a spread.
The keeper there for the quarterback. Not much room for Rosel there. Gets about a yard. Now 2nd and 9. Ball on the 47. And quarterback's down, and hopefully he's okay. But again, they're going to have to get their backup warmed up and ready here. And it looks like if they do bring in another quarterback, it looks like number 11, Jaden Weaver, who is a senior QB. It looks like he's the one that's moseyed out onto the field if Rosel can't go. So again, have a veteran, have an experienced guy as your backup. Kind of what we talked about. Any quarterback that they've put in there the last few years that, you know, you and I have obviously had the pleasure to see, they've known this offense very well, and then it's been all about decision making. As a backup, if you need to step into this one, can you step in and make the right decisions? Make sure you hand it off when you need to, keep it when you need to. We will wait and see for Weaver. Obviously does have a little bit of cushion, being up 13-0 here, but Rosel, as he hobbles off, that doesn't necessarily look good we'll wait and see if we see him later in this game, but good to see him walking on his own 2 feet, on his own power.
Yeah, you know, he's nursing his left ankle a little bit, rolled the sock down, going to get looked at. I'm not a doctor, so also, even if I was, it's impossible to tell from here. So the one thing that I've learned with being friends with an athletic trainer is you never want to judge from a far angle. Because I had a buddy that tore his ACL and he literally ran off the field. So sometimes you never know. He seems to be fine. We hope he's fine. Hopefully he's back in the game. But the athletic training staff, they're going to do the best they can, make sure he's good, he's healthy. So let's hope the best for him. But it didn't look like anything too major.
No, and when that adrenaline's pumping from the middle of a game, yeah, you're going to feel an injury a whole lot more a couple hours later after you've actually gone home and started to rest. Weaver in at quarterback. He hands this one off to Conti. Conti trying to bounce it to the outside. He's got room to run down the sideline past the 20 to the 15 to the 10 to the 5 and in for a touchdown.
Laundry.
There is some laundry on the field. Dom caught that here on the backside and probably is holding going around the corner there. And Conti, again, you saw his explosiveness, able to break that. Honestly, with his speed, maybe no need to hold, or we can't quite tell from this angle up here. Maybe that was the only reason why he got around the corner there, was that hold.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Sometimes the referee, they'll throw the flag where they're standing. So you have no idea sometimes where exactly it went. It's impossible to tell. I'm a lineman, so I like to think linemen never hold, and it's just the referees that are thinking. They're just imagining the hold, but there was something there. They called it. Can't imagine it's a bad call, but I can't imagine Olmsted Falls is too happy about that.
Well, I do have to say the defensive back for Brunswick on the far side did look like he had a decent position but wasn't able to get to Conti, so perhaps just that's why he wasn't able to get those arms extended or break free from the blocker on the outside, was because maybe a little bit of a grab there. Officials were on top of it. Now 2nd and 16, handoff for Pinchek up the middle, and he explodes through the middle and gets right up to the first down marker, and it looks like that should move the chains, and it does.
He's just such an aggressive runner as well. I mean, you have 3 people that can run the ball consistently, and there's never a drop-off. It's phenomenal. And that's a credit here to this offensive line as well, because they do a fantastic job, and they always have. I mean, this school produces offensive linemen like it's no problem.
Hand off to Candow. Candow making a couple men miss. Threw a couple jukes in there, maybe 3 of them. Kept shaking defenders, juking to his right, and now moving up to the 23-yard line. They're going to actually spot it right at the 22. 1st and 10. Excuse me, they actually move it back. I was right initially at the 23-yard line. 4.5 minutes left to go here.
Maybe you should be the spotter from all the way up here.
Perhaps, maybe. Conti met in the backfield, and Conti's helmet comes flying off as that's a physical tackle there from one of those star linebackers, number 5, Thomas Grabowski, the senior. Conti had nowhere to go.
A good middle linebacker can just make your defense so much better. I mean, just able to read the play, and you're already there before they even has the ball. I mean, that's a special type of talent there at linebacker. It really is.
Again, Weaver under center. Stepping in for the injured Rosol, and handoff up the middle. Not much room to run there. Sets up 3rd down. And if you're the coaching staff for the Bulldogs, you have to think about this. Last season, your 3 most dangerous wingbacks, it was Rocco Conti, Jack Pinchek, and Michael Candow. This season, having Pinchek bulk up a little bit, be able to put him at fullback, puts your 3 really most dangerous guys that are non-quarterback guys out on the field from last season. So that's been pretty crucial for them tonight to have that opportunity where Conti's not getting quite as many touches and needing to get as many touches as he maybe did last season. You're actually getting to see it spread 3 different ways between those 3 guys.
You know, that shows how good this coaching staff is in getting these players ready, right, through the season. I've talked to some of my former teammates that were former Bulldogs in themselves, and you know they were excellent in their own right in high school and in college. And I talked to them about it. When did this program start to become what it is? When the coach that they have now stepped in, they made sure that the offense they have was ran all the way from the youngest age to high school. They do a fantastic job with that, and that's why you see no drop-off from position to position. They just do so well teaching every kid in the system, hey, this is the Bulldog way. This is how we do it. This is the system. This is how we're going to win games, and they all buy in. It's really phenomenal, Cole.
Yeah, absolutely. So plenty of time still for them, but 3rd and long for this offense, and find themselves at the 27-yard line. Obviously, you know, this would typically be what you consider probably maybe right on the edge of, especially in high school football, on the edge of that field goal range. But you have to think Noah Minadeo, he did miss that first PAT, and a lot of his PATs that have gone up, they've hung up there. They don't look like they've had the most distance. So I'd question if they don't get it here on 4th down what they do. But really good sign and a sight there for Bulldogs fans out there. Your starting quarterback is back under center. James Rosal rolling to his left, back across his body, finds an open Conti. Conti staying in bounds, tackled from behind, taken down at the 18-yard line. So a nice gain there. Now going to be 4th and 5. Under 3 minutes left to go here in the quarter. Bulldogs still up 13-0. And they're going to keep the offense out there. Under 20 seconds on the play clock. Taking all their time here on this play clock. They're going to need to hurry up. 7 seconds left. 5, 4, man in motion. And I think they're going to take a timeout, and there it is. With 1 second left on the play clock, got that timeout in. They'll go over to the sideline and talk this one over. And it seems like anytime, Dom, they get into anything that's, you know, in kind of that no man's land where they don't really want to kick the field goal and settle for that or test that. They want to go for it. Anything that's 4th and 5 or longer, it seems like they want to take a timeout, talk it over. And the last time what they did, similar play call to what they actually just ran on that last play to pick up all those yards. Got their quarterback, Rosal, rolling out to the near side of the field, throwing back and able to just deliver that to the outside sideline. And that's what they did there. I don't necessarily know if they'll go to that 2 times in a row. Interesting if they'll show another little wrinkle here. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go to the ground and get it to the outside. But, hey, we've seen some ability from Rosal to put it in the air, though.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this young kid is just seems like there was no drop-off from last year at the quarterback. I mean, Rosal just seems like he knows where to be. He understands the offense. It's a smart young man. He's a sophomore. I mean, rarely do you see a sophomore able to step in like this with confident throws. Not the far, kind of what we saw last week with Dizek. Not far. I mean, he's more of a veteran,
right,
but not far throws. He's kind of settling in. Good footwork. Arm motion is steady. And we have a field goal here, Cole. Look at this.
Yeah, and they are going for the field goal here from the left hash. Minadeo, his kick up. It might just barely make it, and no, just short. And it was right on that edge of that field goal territory. And talked about how those PATs were hanging up there. Not quite the distance that Minadeo needed. That was maybe about 3 or 4 yards short. Looked like it maybe had a chance of a gust of wind, though caught it from behind and pushed it through. So falls just to the ground there, and after that missed field goal, you have to feel pretty good if you're the Blue Devils defense holding Olmsted Falls after the good field position.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you had somewhat of a short field. You're able to defend with your end zone in your back. That shows a tough defense. The coaching staff, defensive coordinator, they have to be happy with that. Now you need the offense to come through here. You have 2:14 to do it. You can have big plays if you're this offense. but can you get them through the air? I think that's what they want. They want the ball to travel well through the air.
1st and 10 from the 20. Roxandich, a keeper. He's got some room to run, trying to split through 2 defenders and drags them an extra couple yards to get out past the 40-yard line to the 42. Not much time off of the clock there and moving the chains. Still 2 minutes remaining, and you're getting now close to Bulldogs territory after one play. Big 22-yard keeper.
Man, he's a big kid here for a quarterback, for a sophomore. He can just run. I mean, what a quick kid.
Roxandich looking for that lead block from Nichols. He's got room to run, trying to cut back. 1v1 past the 40 to the 35 and going to step out of bounds. A smart play as the gas tank was maybe starting to run a little empty as you saw the speed slowing down a little bit, but he got out at the 33-yard line, stops the clock, 1 minute and 41 seconds. 2 massive plays for the quarterback back-to-back. And we talked about a sophomore on the other end. Smart decision-making from the sophomore on this end.
One was kind of seeing 2 different performances from these 2 sophomores. I think the playbook, for Olmsted Falls here, it's a little bit more simple for a quarterback, where you're kind of able to ease in a little bit more, while Brunswick is a little bit more complicated.
Tight end in motion, Roxandich, keeper up the middle, gets a couple yards there, gets out to the 29.
But it's more complicated in a passing sense, less in a running sense, where they have different patterns that they run, where Olmsted Falls seems like they kind of run the same 5 pass plays. So it's a little bit different there for the 2 sophomores.
2nd and 6 on the 29. Oh, sweet there, and bouncing off a would-be tackler is Somm, and Cade Somm gets out for the first down, out to the far side of the field, past the 20 to the 19. 1 minute and 7 seconds left. It looked like that was going to get blown up in the backfield, but the small senior receiver stayed on his feet.
I mean, that's shifty right there, being able to bounce off of a runner and keep on going and gain. I think that was about 11 yards there. I mean, Somm really showed how tough he was. Don't let his size fool you. He can bounce off a few defenders if he has to.
Timeout, Brunswick. Just under a minute left to go here in the quarter, and this could be huge for them to go into the locker room. Obviously, the Bulldogs are going to get the football here at the start of the second half because the Blue Devils received it at the beginning of the game. So last thing you want is to settle for no points here and then have the Bulldogs come out and receive that kick and have an opportunity to put more points on the board. So if you can, ideally, even if you had to get a field goal here, 3 points is better than nothing, but you really want that touchdown here to make it a 1-possession game. That could be crucial going into the locker room.
So the attitude's a little different, right? Depending on if you get a field goal, touchdown. Field goal, I'm kind of like, okay, we can drive down the field, get a field goal, but I'd feel a little bit better if we can punch one in, right? Especially with the Bulldogs that missed the extra point and the field goal in this game so far. If I'm Brunswick, if I can score a touchdown, I'm thinking, all right, we can stop this team. We can prevent them from making a field goal, and we can score a touchdown.
Right.
This team's not that much better than us, so it kind of changes the mind thought a little bit if you're the Blue Devils.
Back on the field with a 1st and 10 from the 19 following that big Somm carry. Back to pass. Needs some awareness there as 2 men closing down, and that mental clock there for the sophomore. We just sung his praises, but Roxandich needed to feel that pressure, holding on the ball too long, looking down the field, and was a sitting duck and got sacked. Now after that loss of 6, 2nd and 16 from the 25-yard line. The clock is ticking quick. 30 seconds remaining. Blitz picked up by Nichols, thrown towards the back of the end zone, and that one wasn't catchable. Both the defender and the receiver go to the ground as that was intended the direction of James Snyder Jr., but that one was thrown probably a good 5 yards out of the back corner of the end zone there.
Yeah, that ball was just a little bit too far to the left. Just no one was really able to get it. It's a good no call there by the ref.
Back to pass. Nichols picks up the blitz again. Roxandich down the field, lofting it to the end zone. Double coverage and picked. Big pick there is getting his paws up is Tyler Jazidi. the senior defensive back, and that is now 2 interceptions on floated balls by Rock Sandich. And the Bulldogs defense escapes right before halftime. Score still 13-0, 19 seconds on the clock.
The senior there, I mean, that's a phenomenal catch. I mean, he really had to reach back to get there.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal catch.
That he did. Tracked the ball very well.
2 great interceptions for the Bulldogs. I mean, both had to sniff it out. That one kind of was a little bit shorter, but it would have dropped right there in the bucket there if there was no defender in the face of the receiver. And the senior for the Bulldogs is right there, able to get his paws up there, bring the ball down. Now if you're the Bulldogs, take a knee. And now you're running to the locker room with a 13-0 lead.
There's a snap and taking that knee, and as you said, that wraps up the first half. Both teams going to the locker room, and the visiting Bulldogs with a lead of 13-0. And obviously here at halftime as well, again, you're going to see all the ads from our great sponsors. We want to thank all of our sponsors out there. If you know of somebody or you have a business that you would like to have sponsored with Keon Sports, make sure to reach out to Coach Vin at coachvin14@yahoo.com. You can also reach out to Cole McDaniel2910@gmail.com. We'd love to get you guys here part of high school football with our coverage here in the fall. But as we're about to get to that here at halftime and break in just a little bit, Dom, your thoughts on this first half?
You know, we saw a Brunswick team that's kind of still trying to figure out who they are, what their identity is. One thing you can chalk that underneath is, for your defense, is we're tough, we're strong, no one's going to bully us around. Now they can push us a little bit, they might score a few, but we can stop them. We're a good defense. The offense, you can run, you can be dynamic on offense, but they're kind of still figuring out how do we punch it in. The big plays are there, but can we win in the red zone? Right now, the answer is no. But the second half can be completely different here. So we have one team that Olmsted Falls kind of knows who they are. They've known forever. This Brunswick team, in a little bit of a new identity, same offense, different people running it. Who are we? How can we win games? It's going to be a tough challenge, but they can figure that out here in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, Brunswick did win at Olmsted Falls 28-21 last year. Still a fairly close game here in this one, despite the Bulldogs leading at half. Again, I'm Cole McDaniel, bringing you the play-by-play action here this evening. Next to me, Dom Clary. Again, Brandon Soder also joining us as well. Again, might be joining you here for just a few moments here during halftime. We're going to take a break. Myself, Dom, will be back after half. You're watching and listening live on the Keon Sports YouTube channel.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Back Attack Snacks. They're a healthy option on the go and provide the very best in healthy snacking. With everything from beef jerky to roasted almonds, they have it all. Visit them online at backattacksnacks.com. Car Parts Warehouse. If your car is in need of repairs, then the first place you need to call is Car Parts Warehouse. They cut out the middlemen and bring the service right to you. Find them online at carpartswarehouse.net. Cleveland Bakery Collective not only focuses on bringing together some of the best food and flavors in the Cleveland area, but creating a collaborative and supportive environment where local food artists can prepare, produce, store, and sell their delicious products all in one convenient location. Check them out online at clevelandbakerycollective.com. And welcome into the Keon Sports Halftime Show. I am your host, Brandon Soder. We are here at Brunswick as the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs traveled in to take on the Brunswick Blue Devils. So, first quarter, pretty much all Olmsted Falls. It was a turnover right off the bat as they were able to get an interception and then put up 6 points on the board, courtesy of Rocco Conti. Then Derek Neckar and then Pinchek as well. This triple-headed running attack for Olmsted Falls has been very tough to stop. Same thing when the second half started, right back to Olmsted Falls being able to put up 7 on the board with that touchdown, as I mentioned, from Derek Neckar. Brunswick really struggling to get things going on offense until the end of the first quarter. Looked like they might be picking up some momentum as sophomore quarterback Ethan Rock Sandage really started to open things up on the run game. 2 huge gainers from him and just started pushing deep into Olmsted Falls territory, but once again, Rock Sandage throwing a duck into the end zone. It was picked off, and then Olmsted Falls able to take a knee and end things. But it's 13-0 right now. Brunswick has shown now late that they can get the ball moving, so this is definitely, we're nowhere near done, folks. We still have a game on our hands coming out of the half. And credit to Brunswick's defense. This is a very difficult offense with Olmsted Falls, the way they run their option, this wing offense. It's tough to see who's getting the ball. It's a very physical team, very tough linemen up front, and I'm sure Dominic is a huge fan of here. But credit to them. Couple big stops, again, able to get the ball back at the end of the second quarter. Looked like they may be able to put points up on the board, but they've shown that they can slow down this rush offense of Olmsted Falls. So again, 13-point differential right now. Brunswick still very much in this game, though, so make sure you stick around. Speaking of sticking around, make sure that you start getting your comments in for the Back Attack Snacks Player of the Game. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, go ahead and pop it in the comments who you think is going to be deserving of that honor tonight. And then, of course, me, Dom, and Cole will all make our selections. And late in the fourth quarter, we'll go ahead and give you our player of the game. Again, you are watching the Keon Sports High School Football Game of the Week. Olmsted Falls taking on Brunswick are at halftime. We will be back shortly. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Cleveland Fitness Club. They have it all: bikes, tracks, courts, and even pools. They truly have something for everyone and are open 365 days a year. You can visit them today at 6600 West 130th Street in Middleburg Heights. Climate Tech Inc. For 48 years, family-owned and operated Climate Tech has been the premier company for all HVAC services. For both residential and commercial, they have it covered. They offer free estimates on equipment replacement and 24-hour emergency service. Visit them at climatetech.com. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop. Dave's Golden Shear Barbershop has been your trusted barber for nearly a century of great haircuts. With affordable prices and excellent customer service, there's no better place to get your cut. It is located at 26915 Center Ridge Road in Westlake. Dick Esser Plumbing. Get exceptional plumbing repairs and installations for your commercial property from the experienced professionals at Dick Esser Plumbing and Heating Incorporated. They provide honest services and quality workmanship. You can find out more about them today at dickesserplumbing.com. Frankie's Italian Cuisine. Looking for a place to enjoy a post-game meal? Love Italian food? Frankie's Italian Cuisine has you covered from meatball to lasagna. Visit them tonight at 4641 Great Northern Boulevard in North Olmsted. Great Lakes Training. Great Lakes Basketball caters to athletes of all ages and experience levels with a wide variety of training techniques. Book your first session today at www.greatlakesbasketball.com or email Coach J at coachj@greatlakesbasketball.com. Helene Kia. Looking for a new or used car? Check out our guy Jim McConville at Helene Kia in North Olmsted on Lorraine Road. Jim is a trusted member of the auto community for over 20 years, and he will treat you right no matter your car buying need. Hinckley Roofing. They are your first choice in commercial and residential roofing. This family-run company has been around for 50 years and is your first choice in trusted roofing needs. You can find them online today at hinkleyroofing.com or call them at 330-273-2979. JBL Roofing and Construction. JBL is a licensed, bonded, and insured contractor with the experience to complete any job needed for your home or property. Let their team of professionals help you with vinyl siding, windows, roofing, and gutters. Get the job done right the first time and stress-free with JBL. Call them today at 330-677-9463 or visit them on the web at jblrc.com. Jeffrey Protects Insurance. In today's day and age, insurance from someone you can trust is more important than ever, and you won't make a better choice than Jeffrey Protects Insurance. At JPI, they specialize in Medicare, healthcare insurance, and life insurance. Visit them at jeffreyprotects.com or give them a call at 330-304-7267. Jenny's Popcorn. You can find their flavors anywhere popcorn is sold, including Giant Eagle and Mark's. Visit them online at jennyspopcorn.com or in person at 38727 Taylor Parkway in North Ridgeville, Ohio. They have everything from butter, cheese, caramel, and everything in between at this popcorn paradise. Jerome, Grauer, and Associates. They handle estate planning and their steps are so simple. They handle everything from simple wills to complex trust planning. Contact them today for your legal needs at 216-241-9990 or check them out online at jeromelaw.com. Julie Dangerfield of Keller Williams Realty. Julie has the experience, knowledge, and determination to get the job done. Contact her at 440-309-0396 or by email at juliand222@gmail.com for a complimentary market analysis of your home value today. Kelly McLean Achievement Center, the premier resource for high school athletes who wish to continue to play in college. They provide a one-on-one consultative approach to help students determine their needs and goals. Visit them online at kellymac.com. Makeaway Dumpster. At Makeaway, customers get discounts on days and prices. They offer 24-hour delivery in most cases, along with 10, 15, 20, and 25 cubic yard containers. With Makeaway, there are no hidden charges for drop-off, pickup, or wait. Find them at makeawaydumpsterrental.com. MDG Flooring. If you're in need of quality flooring for your home or office, look no further than MDG Flooring America in Medina. There is nothing that Steve and his talented staff cannot handle. Call them today at 330-725-5252 or stop in and visit them in person at 3812 Pearl Road in Medina. Nancy's Main Street Diner. They only prepare your meals with the freshest ingredients. The dishes are made to order as they never use heat lamps and they take no shortcuts whatsoever. They're located at 426 Main Street in Grafton, Ohio. Nancy's Main Street Diner is your choice for all 3 daily meals. Play CLE. Play CLE is the ultimate indoor adventure park in Northeast Ohio. With zip lining, ninja obstacle courses, climbing walls, and the area's largest indoor ropes course, Play CLE is the best option to get inside and have some fun and adventure. It's the perfect place for your next team building event, birthday party, or field trip. With an on-site bar and kitchen, Play CLE makes sure you are properly fueled to reach new heights. To learn more, visit playadventureparks.com or stop by the facility in Avon off 611 and Chester. Salad Craze. Looking to eat healthy and go away happy? Try Salad Craze. They have been voted Cleveland's healthiest restaurant 4 years in a row. Stop in for yourself and find out why at 690 Avon Belden Road in Avon Lake. You can check out their menu at saladcraze.com.
And welcome back as we're about to get the second half started here from Brunswick Auto Mart Stadium. Cole McDaniel alongside Dom Clary. Again, thank you to Brandon Soder, who's handling all the IT side of things today, and the camera, again, a crucial part of our three-man crew who gave you that little halftime show and rundown and recap of what happened in the first half. And we talked a little bit about it at the end of the first half, Dom. I asked you about what you thought. But as we come out here for the second half, Olmsted Falls, the Bulldogs, they're about to receive the kick. They're up 13-0 at this point. They got a big interception there at the end of the half, as it looked like Brunswick was maybe knocking on the door to put some points on the board. If you are the Bulldogs, I'm assuming you're just going to come out and run again, because that's what they like to do anyway. But thinking about the Blue Devils on the other end, how do you handle this coming out of the locker room?
I mean, you handle it the way you always do, right? The Bulldog way, right? You run the ball, play your offense, give the ball to as many people as possible, and when it's time, play action fake, roll out, let your quarterback do your thing. Let Rossell be a young quarterback, get him out in space, let him do his thing, but you might not have to do that. Rocky O'Connie only has 10 yards, believe it or not.
Yeah. That's a rarity, for sure.
But he has a touchdown. Like I told you, he's like Jerome Bettis. You have, 5 carries, 5 touchdowns, and 0 yards. It's one of those remarkable things. But it felt like he's impacted the game a lot. Now, he does have a reception, 1 reception, 10 yards. And Rossell has been effective as well, where, he's 4 for 5, very efficient. His first pass was incomplete. But if you're Olmsted Falls, do it the Bulldogs way. Keep playing consistent, keep being steady. Don't change your game plan because you don't have to.
Yeah, how about for the Blue Devils on the other end, though, Dom?
Get anything going. Mm-hmm. I mean, right now, the only person that they have right now is Ethan the Rock right now, the sophomore. But even then, he is 0 for 6 with -1 yards in the air with 2 interceptions. That's not a good stat line in any way, shape, or form. You have to get that a little bit better. But the problem is when they're throwing, I think they've been behind 10 or behind the 10 yards of the first down marker. It's been 11 yards, it's been 15 yards. Every time they pass, it's never a short yard situation. They need to mix it up a little bit more at the pass, let things come a little bit easier to them. They're right now passing only when they have to, and that's not helping him right now. But when it comes to running, he is the man of the day on the feet. 7 rushes, 83 yards. Right now, his arm is what's hurting him right now. Mm-hmm. He needs to keep moving on his feet. But right now, he's not seeing things happen on the field when he's throwing the ball. And he's just not letting things happen for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see as we come out here in the second half if Brandon Nichols, the senior running back, if Brunswick's able to get him going. But Dom mentioned earlier, it's a beautiful night for football. Of course, week one's always so hot, and I think some of that rain earlier today cooled it down. Maybe a little bit of mugginess in the air, but a nice little breeze. We have, the sun's obviously set. Some clouds have rolled in, and the lights are on. Just that glistening off of the helmets there down on the field, and the deeper that we get in to this regular season, as more weeks go by, the more and more it just feels like we're getting close to fall. It's really turning into that heart of high school football season, and we're about to get this second half kick underway. It will be the Blue Devils kicking off from left to right, going across your screen. Again, you're watching and listening live here on the Keon Sports YouTube channel. I want to thank everybody who's already subscribed to the channel. Make sure that if you haven't already, make sure that you do subscribe so you can continue to watch games throughout this season. And for both of these fan bases, we're going to be covering the Blue Devils some more. We've got a couple more on the slate here where we'll broadcast. Same for the Bulldog supporters. We'll be out to some Olmsted Falls games as well. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Here's the kickoff. Short little squib, takes a hop, scooped up at the 24-yard line. Pincheck makes a man miss, showing off that physicality, out past the 30, wrapped up at the 31, and that's where the Bulldogs begin for the first drive of the second half.
Yeah, that kickoff return just defines, what Pinnock is and what this team is. Tough, physical, even when there's nothing there. I can pave a few yards in front of me just by lowering my shoulder.
Yeah, and we've definitely sung the praises of Pincheck here so far tonight. Bulked up a little bit so he could play that fullback position with the hand in the dirt, and the senior has been impactful. Of course, Conti and Nichols, the two who have scored touchdowns, but Pinchek still very crucial. Conti gets the pitch. Only 10 yards so far on the ground. That one gets him 5, though. Actually going to be about 4. They spot him down directly at the 35-yard line. On the scoreboard, they put 2nd and 5, should be 2nd and 6, and they do move it back here now. Under center, the quarterback. Russell with the handoff, Pinchek. A little bit of room to run. Paves his way behind those big offensive linemen, and hard to bring him down, as not only did he move the chains, but actually he stumbled forward for about an extra 4 yards there, down at the 45-yard line, and just like that, quickly approaching Blue Devils territory.
Yeah, Brunswick needs to get a stop here on these set of downs here if they want to get their offense a chance quickly, because they'll just drain the clock here.
Conti, handoff, nearly splits through that gap there between the right guard and the right tackle, and tripped up by number 62 on the defensive line, as that's Bogdan Yakimev making that tackle there by the shoestrings. Only 1 yard for Conti.
Yeah, usually he breaks one already. We saw him break one, but it did get called back. Surprised for him it hasn't happened again, but this is a tough defense, like we said.
The keeper, now a late pitch, and Kandow swallowed up at the 50-yard line. Not a ton of room there for him after that pitch, and talked about the good decision-making of James Russell, but that one was really defended well by Brunswick, because one player took the quarterback, another took the outside, and really nothing there on that play after a couple yards.
That's what you're taught there on the option, right? Any type of option. That was a pitch option, but even a read option, one position has a quarterback, another is assigned the running back. You have to stick to those principles or else they'll break one big.
Back to pass, rolling to his right. Rosel finds a man, and that's the first reception for number 12, Gavin Moore, the senior wide receiver. He's got some height. He's a guy to watch out for. Last season we saw him be an effective guy sometimes in the red zone. Haven't targeted him yet, but that first reception moves the chains, and now into Blue Devils territory is the Bulldogs. 9.5 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Still 13-0, Olmsted Falls. Kandow in motion, handoff up the middle, and a little bit of room there. And Nichols, the junior, nice carry, big body, but he does have a burst of speed up through the middle. Picked up 6 yards.
You know, I talked about them earlier, but this offensive line, I mean, they're just so good. I mean, last year I think they had a little bit more size. We still see some of that. A little bit younger, a little bit shorter, a little bit thinner. But you know, this is still a big unit, and they're quick.
Conti gets the handoff, and you're waiting for him to break one. Makes a man miss, trying to drag a tackler there, and swung down by number 11, Toomey. Now 21. They're at the 21-yard line. 1st and 10. Eight and a half minutes remaining here in the quarter. So you're waiting for him to break a decent run, and that's a good one for Conti. It's a matter of when, not if. But a great tackle there by Toomey to prevent the Bulldogs from taking that to the house. Here's that sneak play up the middle. Rosel got him 5 yards the last time they ran that play. A little bit of trickery there again. Simple, straightforward, just following blockers up the middle. Not quite the 5 yards there, but nearly. Picking up 4, 2nd and 6 now.
That QB sneak, there's no one in the A-gap on this defense. Or maybe there is. Yeah, a little bit on the gap, but just one defender there. Now they have a nose tackle. Before, I don't think they did.
Here comes Conti in motion. Pitch to Conti. Conti's got room past the 10 to the 5, and a big hit. And he flips over the one tackler that went low and one went high and landed on his back at about the 3-yard line. 1st and goal, Bulldogs. So the last 2 touches for Conti, big plays, and a lot of credit to his blockers as they've cleared out some room and he's had plenty of space. And now will they reward him and give him the ball again so he can punch it in for his 2nd touchdown? We'll wait and see, but the Blue Devils, this is where they nearly made a stand early in the game. Hand off to Pinchek. Pinchek trying to barrel forward, and he's wrapped up and maybe got to the 2. And they might mark him right back at the line of scrimmage there, so not much room there for Pinchek.
No, none at all there. The defense was really able to get underneath the pads of the offensive line, push back a little bit, make a good move, get a tackle. They didn't get a loss there, so I believe they gained 1 yard, but not much of a difference when you're there on the 3rd, 2nd, or 1st yard line.
And Brunswick does have some big bodies up front, and here in this goal line scenario, that's where they plug up that A and those B gaps as well. Wait and see if maybe this is a pitch to the outside. Instead, hand off to Conti, and Conti tries to go out the middle, maybe half a yard, if that. So not much room there for Conti up the middle. Again, this is almost where you think, try to get it to the outside. I know there's some speed on that Blue Devils defense, but that front line, those big bodies, they're really clogging it up when they get their backs up against the goal line.
Yeah, this is the exact moment when you want those big bodies on your D-line. You know, now we really see that slower linebackers now play defensive tackle and outside linebackers now play end. But the high school level, you can get away with having some big bodies, and that's exactly what they're doing. Even the tackles, the noses, all big boys.
On the right hash, Conti gets the handoff going from left to right, and he finds the gap and punches it in from 1 yard out. And Conti now with 2 touchdowns on the night, and very fitting after multiple big gains. We talked about him not breaking one off in the first half. Broke 2 off and gets rewarded for his troubles. 19-0, awaiting the PAT.
That's another 1 yard and a cloud of dust, a cloud of dust run there for Rocco Conti. He's just, again, phenomenal, especially in short yard situations, able to pave room for himself. Another one, another missed field goal, or extra point, pardon me.
Yeah, another PAT missed wide, and a lot of those have had that backspin and have been hanging up there for Noah Minadeo, the senior kicker. Tough night for him. Made 1 PAT, he's missed 2 wide left and was short on that field goal. So again, some things for him to work on here this week prior to the week 3 game they'll have on Friday. But you know, some points stranded, left up on the board there. And you talked about how crucial special teams can be in some games. Maybe not being the difference maker here right now, but in a close one, you definitely want to make sure that you're capitalizing when you can.
It won't hurt you now. Let me rephrase that. It may not hurt you now.
We got a lot of time left.
It will hurt you when you play Avon,
Correct.
Avon Lake, Berea Mid Park. Any of those, honestly, I could just name that entire conference.
And Midview's having a good year so far,
the
too.
Middies, yeah.
Yeah. North Ridgeville, actually, they've even pieced together some wins this year, too.
Yeah,
Two wins so
the
far.
Cardiac kids.
I know, right?
They could be a team to watch this year, the SWC, huh?
SWC's got something going again, and they oftentimes do a lot of good football there. Tough conference. Olmsted Falls, you know, obviously they were very good last year once again, but when you get into that conference, you got to take it seriously, and they'll try to clean up some of those issues. On that kick, ball bobbled, just running side to side across the field, maybe gets a couple yards after being able to scoop that one up, but that was number 27, Alexander Hubble, and not much room for him, just got to the 17-yard line. Still just a little over 5 minutes left to go, 5 minutes and 18 seconds to be exact here in the third quarter. We talked about the Blue Devils. Obviously that run game is crucial for them. Can they get that going again here? Not only with your quarterback, the Rock, Ethan Rock Sandich, can you get your senior running back involved, Brandon Nichols? Not going to get a handoff there. Quick pitch out to Safko, and Safko out past the 25-yard line, spot him down at the 26.
Oh, good little pass there. That is the first completion. Or no, wait, hold on. That's a second completion. I think earlier I said he's 0-6. That's incorrect.
One
he's
for
1
6.
for 6.
Yep.
Now he's 2 for 6
yep.
with some positive yardage now. Before he had 1 negative yard. But that's a way to get some yards there on the pass.
Brandon Nichols showing that burst of speed as soon as he touched the football. That should move the chains, and it does as it gets the football up to nearly the 30-yard line. Looked like it was close to the 29 there, but the tip of the football right on the 30. Moving those chains and on the ground, just like we talked about. And like I said, I think Nichols is a guy you really need to get involved in this game. The senior, again, you'd like to see him get plenty of touches as well. Really gives you a little bit of diversity in addition to not only is your quarterback a threat on the ground, but get that running back to where he's a threat as well. Gets a handoff again, finds a gap, cuts back up past the 40 to the 45-yard line, and you see the ability there of the senior.
He is shifty. That offensive line had a beautiful seam there. The guard and the tackle able to wash down inside zone, I do believe. I believe that was an inside zone or some type of gap there. But that was beautiful, able to clear up space. The linebackers were all washed down as well. Oh, just a beautiful hole. Drive a truck through that.
And playing with 2 tight ends on the field as well. Here's a short pass, and that one was tough as Rock Sandich threw that one out in the direction of Safko, and Safko had to dive for it and lunge forward, and no gain on that catch. Ball on the 45, and actually it was tough to tell. Again, maybe nearly reeled that one in, but regardless whether he caught that or that one was dropped and hit the turf, ball would have still been marked in the same spot there, right at the 45-yard line. Again, still those 2 tight ends on the line. Handoff to Nichols, and Nichols gets blown up the middle. And Brunswick, their offensive line, has been doing a good job opening up some holes on the last couple of runs, but that time there, linebacker crashing down. And Derek Nakaru, again, the linebacker who also you'll see him go in at fullback on the offense, showing off that physicality. He came down like a Mack truck, delivering the blow to the shifty running back.
So what do you do here now if you're Brunswick, right? I don't think they run the ball. You're on a 3rd and long. You imagine they throw, but are they going to go for it? It's the real question.
Well, Rock Sandich has a man. He finds him. There's the completion and should just get out past the marker. Great grab there by Cade Som, and a nice strike there by the quarterback. And looks like we got a Bulldogs player down on the field right at about the 45-yard line. So we're going to have a quick break in the action here. Just over 2 minutes left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Still a score of 19-0, but the Blue Devils driving here right now, Dom. And that was a nice strike there. Yeah, it was a little bit low, but Cade Som, a guy who we talked about, watch out for him. We've seen him get a couple touches now here after pretty quiet start to the game. Like to see them get the ball in Som's hand a little bit more as well.
Oh, for sure. He's one of those seniors that, he's one of your leaders there out wide. You want to give him the ball, and you have an old group of wide receivers. You want to utilize them as many ways as possible. Again, you need to ease your young quarterback in, but, get your ball out to those playmakers. They're veterans. They've done this before. Get them the ball, and now they're able to do that. Can they keep on doing it after this injury timeout? That'll be the real question, because momentum can die right after these timeouts.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, still the training staff out there taking a look and working out there on the field. Again, still a lot of fans here in the stands. Again, you talked about the student sections being out in full force. Bleachers pretty filled up here. Like I said, a beautiful evening for some football, and You know, it just feels good to have it back. I know we said it last week, but it's such a good feeling to be back to the fall. It's my favorite time of the year. You know, we hit that week where, you know, after a couple weeks of high school football, you see college football is rolling along here in the next few weeks. And then after that,
Week
NFL
0 tomorrow.
Football, yeah, Week 0 tomorrow. Here's a handoff as we're back in action. Nichols, a little bit of room to run, getting out to the 40-yard line, drops that shoulder, and rumbles forward. Should be marked out at about the 39-yard line, maybe forced his way close to the 38. Great carry by him, as it looked like there wasn't too much room, but when he bounced it, he was able to surge forward for a nice gain. We've got under 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. 2nd and 4 on the 39.
You know, my question is, why was he not being utilized more at the beginning of the game, right? He only had a handful of carries. Mainly it was through your quarterback. He didn't have a lot of chances, really, but I'd like to see him get more involved early in the game.
Roxandich, the keeper, tripped up from behind, and an excellent tackle surging through into the backfield. Colin Singleton, the senior defensive end, and a nice play, and that had his sideline fired up.
You know, they're going to run that play until it doesn't run anymore. I mean, and they can run that motion 2 different ways, right? Left or right, do the fake. You have that lead block from the running back, but you can only run it 2 different ways. There's not so much you can do with it.
4 wide, Roxandich into tight coverage, but he's fine. Safko with the strong hands to the 10, to the 5, into the end zone, touchdown. And the Blue Devils are on the scoreboard, and this place is rocking.
My computer's shaking, my iPad's over, the camera's bouncing. This place is rocking. That's how you get back in the football game. A little bit more work needs to get done. Beautiful pass, a fantastic catch in traffic. I mean, that's what got it there, because that could have been jumped easily.
You know, football, and really most sports, but football can be a game of inches sometimes. I know we're talking about yards usually, but that one was oh so close, as Roxandich put that one to the outside of the field. And if that was just a split second later, if Safko didn't have the strong hands and reach out there, that could have been a pick 6 going the other way, as the defensive back was crashing down on that and nearly jumped the route. Safko hauls that in with the strong hands, turns upfield, gets down the sideline. Big touchdown there for the senior receiver. He and Cade Som, crucial guys for you out wide if you're a Blue Devils fan, and you're still in this game, 19-7.
One thing I want to talk about that drive is your young quarterback, Ethan the Rock Roxandich, right? He threw 4 passes, right? A 6-yarder, a 9-yarder, a 41-yarder with 1 incompletion. That is the most productive that he's been throwing the entire. Honestly, the past 2 games, from what I understand, I don't think his passing stats were fully shown. That I wasn't able to see them last game, but that's how you become productive, right? 3 really good throws, right? And that last one's a little scary, but he was open. He was able to haul it in. So if he catches it, then it is a good throw, right?
Right.
So, but now you have a 19-7 ball game. You're right back in this game. Your defense needs to stop, but now they know the offense has our back.
Absolutely, that they do. And we talked about it. This crowd over here had been a little quiet for a little bit. They just totally came back to life, and this place just started booming once again, and that's exactly what you need, that energy down there on the field. And hey, things were interesting last year. It was looking like it was going Olmsted Falls' way. Again, still, Olmsted Falls has the commanding lead. If they can go down the field and drive, really kill a lot of clock, you know that the Blue Devils need a crucial stop, but we'll wait and see if they can absolutely get that one done. But they do need it. But you just feel that energy here, and this one fielded, getting down the sideline, tiptoeing, maybe able to take this one to the house, just needs to get by. One more tackler, there's Pinchek. Pinchek escapes the tackle to the 10, to the 5, in for the touchdown off of the squib. Jack Pinchek, the senior, houses that ball, and it looks like he was about to step out there on the far sideline, and then it was a clear highway, and I'm not sure how that tackle from number 44, Jonathan Putz, didn't happen. The senior tight end had him wrapped up, and Pinchek said, nope, not today, and took that one to the house.
Wow, what a play by Pinchak, the senior. Comes up big. As soon as you think momentum, we might have a swing here, Olmsted Falls says our student section's into it, the crowd's into it, we're back into this game, and we're going to extend our lead. We don't care if you score, we're going to respond right back as quick as humanly possible. That's what the Bulldogs did. This team is just resilient, Cole. I mean, wow, playmakers and special teams. And we talked about special teams could hurt them. Right now, special teams may secure their lead as we go on here.
One of the best plays of the game coming from special teams.
And we could see that to be one of the best plays in the year. I mean, where did he receive that? The 20, 25?
Picked that up at the 20 on the sideline, nearly stepping out around the 30. Going for two, and that pass a little bit short and just incomplete. So the score remains 25-7 in favor of Olmsted Falls. Now, Dom, we talked about Jack Pinchak. We talked about it. We can tell from up here. He's put on some muscle. He's put on some weight, and that's why his hand's in the dirt here tonight. But he said, I can still get out in space. I can still show off the speed. Again, such a huge play from him. That is going to be one of the plays of the season for the Bulldogs. Now, you had momentum just a moment ago, Brunswick. This crowd got excited. And then literally a couple seconds later, that happens for Olmsted Falls. Now, momentum's right back on that visitor side for sure. But, hey, if you are Brunswick, keep in mind, we still got a whole fourth quarter to play. 31 seconds still remaining here in this quarter. If they can do what they did on the last drive, we could be back in a similar situation. Again, then if you can score a touchdown, you only need that stop. There's still a lot of game to go, a lot to do, but it's not necessarily over. Still plenty of time.
Yeah, now your offense, you have to be a little bit quicker now.
Right.
You can run still, right? But you kind of can't be as methodical as you'd like.
This kick from right to left on your screen, it's a high hanging kick, fielded at the 18-yard line. Trying to bounce out to the outside is Toomey. Toomey lunging forward. Drops pretty low into a couple of white jerseys and looks like he's going to be taken out right around the 27-yard line. So 24 seconds remaining here in the third quarter.
You know, Cole, one thing I kind of want to bring up here is I was doing research about the Blue Devil nickname, and what's really interesting is that it comes from a nickname given to a regiment of French soldiers in World War I, Les Diables Bleus, or the Blue Devils. Only the strongest, both mentally, physically, could pass the rigid examination before they become a Blue Devil.
And the carry there for Brandy Nichols. And Nichols fighting, not going down. Clock continues to tick down, and that's probably going to be the last play here of the quarter. The Blue Devils, as we roll into the fourth quarter, assume there's not going to be another play, down 25-7. They're going to need to live up to that Blue Devils name. And we'll be right back here after the break. We'll be back with the fourth quarter action here on YouTube.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Spins Bowl. Spins Bowl has 36 lanes and a large redemption arcade with a full bar and restaurant. It is truly a good time for the whole family as it has something for everyone, young and old. Swing by their website for more info at spinsbowl.com. TNT Construction. They provide residential and commercial remodeling, construction, and building services to clients in Cleveland and all of Northeast Ohio. Look them up today at tntcleveland.com.
And we're back here for the start of the fourth quarter from the Brunswick Auto Mart Stadium. I'm Cole McDaniel alongside Dom Clary. 12 minutes up on the clock. And the Blue Devils come out with a 2nd and 4 from their own 34-yard line. Back to pass. Roxandich, pressure in his face, and he got hit as he threw that pass and sailed that one high, and it was well over Cade Somm, and the closest person there was the defensive back jumping up, but still a little bit too high for him to handle. Ball falls harmlessly to the turf. 3rd and 4 now from the 34. Again, thank you everybody who are watching and listening live on the Keon Sports YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Also make sure to go to KeonSports.com, and that snap all the way back to the 15-yard line. And Rock Sandich had to jump on that one, and some frustration there for the Blue Devils. But there is a penalty marker down on the field. I wonder if something happened down in that pile right after Rock Sandich had to jump on it. And it's actually going to go against the Blue Devils as well. So already a huge loss on that play. Catastrophic for what they need to do to put together a nice drive to really put themselves right back in this one. Tack on a penalty at the end. And they're going to move from the 34-yard line to get buried back to the 15-yard line. And then they're going to step this back and mark it off a little bit more.
That's just not the drive you want. I think they were a little bit tired still from that drive that they had getting to the end zone. But that's not the drive that you want to respond to a kickoff return. How do you really respond? You finally get momentum, right? You think, oh, we're back in this game, and then boom, it's the same lead that you had before you scored a touchdown.
Rock Sandich to punt, and this one he actually gets a hold of. Nobody back deep. He tucks this one out of bounds at the 49-yard line, and it looks like the official ran about an extra yard there, so he gets an additional yard. So mark it at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10. Bulldogs coming from left to right on your screen, and only really 39 seconds come off of that score clock. 41 seconds actually tick off of that score clock here in the last couple plays. So still a lot of time up on the clock, but now you're going to see the Bulldogs probably start to try to drain this clock. I would assume being up 25-7, they're not going to let off the gas pedal. They're going to try to get down the field and score once again, but expect them to just continue to hit that ground game and really pound it to see if they can really pick up those 52 yards to get to the end zone. Under center, here's a snap. A keeper, looked like it was nearly taken, but Conti has so much room to run. So Conti, if he can get around the edge to the 35 to the 30, cutting inside, staying in bounds, past the 25, and down at the 23-yard line. And that right there could have gone very differently, because I believe the fullback there, I believe that was Pinchek. He wanted to take that ball. And instead, a very late pull there from the sophomore quarterback, James Rosel, and maybe lucky that football didn't hit the turf, but he was able to hold on to it. And when he pitched it to Conti, because everybody had collapsed inside, Conti had so much room to run to the outside, and another big play for him. Now a little bit of a pistol look. Ball on the 23-yard line. A nice pass there to Candow, and Candow with the diving completion. The defensive back was looking to make a break on that coming forward. That was number 12, Mark Semenko, who was lurking. Candow, because he stretched out and laid out for it, prevented it from going right into the chest of the defensive back. First down, ball at the 13-yard line.
Yeah, that's great awareness there by Candow to know, hey, I need to dive here. This can be bad for my team. Put his body there out on the line, was able to haul one in. Impressive effort and even a better catch.
Here's a handoff up the middle. And looks like that one gets up to the 6-yard line, as that's Necker, and nice carry there. Sets up a second down there, 2nd and 3. So not much clock, after that big Conti play, not much clock that they're draining down, but it looks like really having to deal with the run and all the trickery and what happens with this offense of the Bulldogs. It seems like the defense of the Blue Devils starting to wear down a little bit, because they were hanging a bit tougher in the first half. Here's a snap, a keeper, room to run to the end zone, in for a touchdown, James Rosel. 31-7 Bulldogs.
Another fantastic run there by James Rosal. He is really proving himself here today.
Yeah.
Last week, I don't know exactly on his performance last week, but battled one of the best teams in the entire state of Ohio, right? So he battles them, and again, in the D3 level, but doesn't really matter. Battles them, comes here, and is just as dominant as could be. I mean, he's so efficient. He only has one incomplete pass that we've seen so far. He hasn't thrown a lot of incomplete passes, but he's used his feet as well when necessary, and that's just phenomenal. He just, again, this quarterback, James Rossell, could be a rare talent that we see here for the Bulldogs going forward.
Yeah, absolutely, and you got to feel good about it with him just being a sophomore. Barring any injuries or anything like that, again, we hope to see him healthy and playing for many years to come. But next 3 years, unless anything crazy happens, assume this is going to be his offense that he's going to be running in. And does he run it well? I thought maybe there would be a little bit of an adjustment period, a change with not having Charlie Ciolik, who really ran that offense well. But looking like Russell is really picking up where Ciolik left off last season. After that made PAT, score now 32-7. 9.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Talk about wanting to get revenge from last year as well. You'd say a lot of seniors on this Bulldogs team wanting that. They are getting it here at this point. Fielded at the 16-yard line. A little bit of room to run. Going to be swallowed up by some white jerseys there at the 31-yard line. Now the offense comes back out on the field after really tough play on third down where that ball got shot on the floor. It looked like Roxandich was actually looking out to his wide receiver out to the left. And as he was looking out to his left, that ball really was just zinging right past his shoulder, and he had to go back and dive on it in a smart heads-up play. But again, really put them in a tough spot, and then the Bulldogs came back and scored here once again. Get something good on tape. Get something for that offense and a win here. And a short little pass out to the flat there, and Safko tackled hard, but he gets up to the 37-yard line. So nice gain of 6 there.
Now, if I'm the Blue Devils, I'm not really worried about getting back in the game. Play your offense, see what can happen.
And this is one low to Safko as he was out here. That was one of those little bubble screens that we saw earlier. And that one trying to find an intended target in the flats, and Safko had to go down to try to get to it, but it took a hop before it gets there. Incomplete. 3rd and 3. Ball on the 38.
On a screen like that, you're really taught. It doesn't matter where your hands are in the seams. Get that ball out, right, and get it to the chest. He's really playing around with the ball. He's really taking his time on a bubble screen. You need to be quick. You need to be efficient. Right now, he's kind of just taking his time. You can't really do that there in a bubble screen.
Nichols, the lead blocker for Roxandich, and Roxandich, as he was moving to his left, straight north and south, he saw a hole open up to the right-hand side, hit that B gap between the right guard and also the right tackle, and that allowed him to surge forward and move the chains. Ball now on the 42.
I don't know if you noticed. Have you looked at the themes for the student sections? We have Hawaiian for Brunswick, and then we have
neon.
They're wearing constructor jackets. Have you noticed that?
I think you're right. I see the construction jackets, but it almost looks like a neon theme as you see all the pink and the orange. So we'd have to get official confirmation, but hey, it's smart to have the construction jackets if it is a neon theme over there.
No, it is. Maybe there's like a hard hat or two being worn over there. Even the cheerleaders, I don't think some of them are wearing it as well. You don't see that too often.
Under 8 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. After that carry of 4 yards, sets up a 2nd and 6. Ball on the 46. Nichols to the left of Roxandich. Wide receiver in motion. And Safko, not much room at all. And the Bulldogs defense quickly crashing down and blowing that one up in the backfield. No gain there, still 3rd and 6.
I think it's the first time where they ran that play where they actually gave it to the motion man. I could be wrong, but they ran that motion a lot, trying to set that up. And then they set it up and they don't gain any yards.
4 wide in the gun now for Rock Sandich. Back to pass, looking down the field, floating this one to the far sideline. A lot of contact and some hand fighting and a nice catch there, keeping the foot in bounds. Matthew Horton, the senior wide receiver, big gain, ball down to the 18-yard line.
That pass could have been in a better spot if he tried. I mean, beautiful, put it right on the money where his wide receiver could haul it in.
Four wide once again. Rock Sandich, a little bit of room, trying to make a move. Makes a linebacker miss in open space, gets him an extra 2 yards. And that wasn't a design quarterback draw, but he saw that little hole open up, and very talented runner, and gets that positive gain there, setting up a 2nd and 4.
Yeah, way to use your feet when things get tough. That's what makes good quarterbacks great quarterbacks, is knowing when to use your feet. They had a lot of designed runs for him, so he's going to use his feet no matter what here in an average game for him. But even then in the pass, able to do it.
Hand off to Nichols. Nichols surges forward. That quick burst of speed, but is met in the hole by the linebacker and taken down. Just a gain of 1 for the Blue Devils, 3rd and 4.
I wonder if they score here if they do an onside kick. Kind of have to if you want to stay in the game, but they might not be worried about that.
Maybe not at this point with only 5.5 minutes left to go, but here's the handoff to Nichols. Just a matter of trying to get that first down. An excellent surge there, and gets up to the 8-yard line, gets exactly what he needed to move the chains. Now a 1st and goal for Brunswick.
Yeah, but we've seen crazier things happen in high school football. I mean, you ever see that video of that high school state championship in Texas where it was like a team was up by 30, and then a team came back and they were up by 30, and then it kept flipping, and then it ended up like in overtime? The craziest things that happen in high school football. So, maybe for the coach, it's to prove to your team, I'm not giving up on you. So later in the season, the team knows the coach has their back. That could be a strategy used.
Safco in motion. Nichols, the handoff going left to right. Little bit of room there. Surges forward up near the 5-yard line, and they'll mark him right at the 5. So now a 2nd and goal.
Nichols has proven to be very good there in the backfield.
He has.
They haven't used anybody else. You kind of wish, what if they used him a little bit earlier than they did? I think he only had 4 rushes, maybe, not too many. And you kind of wish, hey, give him the ball, we could see maybe a tad bit different ball game. I don't know if the result would be completely changed, but we could see a team that would have 14 to 21 points on the board right now.
Well, and as we have a few more games that we'll see Brunswick play, it'd be nice to see Nichols, get some more touches, because if he keeps putting performances like this he's had in the second half, again, he could really make things happen throughout the season, and I could see a really big year stats-wise for him as well. Here's the draw up the middle for Rock Sandich. Gets to the 2-yard line there, so a gain of 3. Just over 4 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. At 3rd and goal. And a great opportunity for the Blue Devils to, again, still put something good on the scoreboard. Maybe put another 6 points up there. Starting to put some good things on film here this drive.
Oh, yeah, they've been able to move the ball the past few times. Well, look at this.
Up the middle, and it looks like that one's going to be stopped. It's going to be close, but right about the 1-yard line. And it's going to be a 4th and very short. And as we enter the red zone here, a reminder that this trip to the red zone, as well as all trips to the red zone in this game, has been brought to you by Kelly McLean Achievement Center. Visit them online at kelly-mac.com, and want to thank Kelly McLean Achievement Center for being one of the proud sponsors here of Keon Sports, and again sponsoring the red zone for all of our high school football coverage this fall. And as this timeout for Olmsted Falls happens on the field, a reminder that if you know of somebody or you have a company yourself that you would like to become a sponsor of Keon Sports, get involved with high school football coverage action, or even just sponsor some of our other great content that we have at Keon Sports, make sure you reach out to us, coachvin14@yahoo.com, and myself, Cole McDaniel2910@gmail.com. We'd love to hear about your interest in sponsorship. Again, we a great thing to have you be a part of this as we continue to grow and continue to do more and more coverage. Not only is this game being broadcast live here this evening, remember, over 25 games do we have writers at tonight out across Northeast Ohio covering games. So after this one, or if you watch the playback of this one and you think, I need to go check out what else happened in the area, tonight, as well as tomorrow, this whole weekend, check the articles on keonsports.com and see what happened around the area.
Some good articles out there that a lot of our interns and other experienced members of Keon Sports produce. I mean, some phenomenal writers that we have here with KOS.
That we do. Here at the 1 yard line, following the timeout, Brunswick looking to punch it in, handoff to Nichols. Nichols surges forward, and I don't know if he got it. He got stood up, and it depends upon the spot, but I think he got stopped, and there is a huge goal line stop for the front 7 of the Bulldogs, and their crowd on the far side celebrating that, as looked like Nichols with that speed had that initial surge, but as soon as he was about to probably stretch out for the end zone there, halted and driven backwards. That's about as close as you can get.
You know, I already know how the meeting's going to go tomorrow morning, where they go over this film. They're going to have, offensive linemen are all going to sit together, and the offensive line coach is just going to look at them.
Yeah.
We need to win that battle. I mean, you win games in the trenches, especially on the goal line. I mean, that's where boys become men. They're in the trenches within those 5 yards. And you weren't able to win that battle if you're Brunswick. Olmsted Falls, again, they're going to be high fives all around. Hey, we can do this now. We can do this later, too, when we face some of our conference opponents. But if you're Brunswick, and the film room tomorrow is going to be hard, especially there on that play.
1st and 10 from the half-yard line and needing to get out of the end zone, and this might end up resulting in a safety there. And it looks like they're going to give a favorable spot, still marking at the half-yard line. No gain there for the Bulldogs as they're buried deep, and Brunswick really trying to make that stand as now under 3 minutes left to go here in the game. Still 32-7.
I didn't even see who got that handoff there.
Yeah, looks like we also have a different quarterback in, as it does look like number 11, Jaden Weaver. We saw him for a drive earlier. He did come back in, handed that one off to the fullback. Again, swarm of jerseys there. Hard to see from up here exactly who got that handoff. I believe it was Pinchek there. Pinchek was doing all he could to fight to get out of the end zone. Here's a keeper, clearing a little bit of space, maybe getting about a yard, maybe a yard and a half there. Not much room. Going to be a 3rd and long now for the Bulldogs. Took under 2 minutes here, and Don was talking about all the great content. Some great writers here with Keon Sports. Not only just our veteran staff, but also all of the interns that we do have. Again, thank you to everybody who's out covering those games here this evening. Also want to mention, some podcasts are coming back or starting up as well. Dom's Mac podcast is going to be beginning here very shortly. And in a few weeks, right before the NFL season starts, President and CEO Vince McKee and myself will once again be back with the Climate Tech Inc. NFL prediction show, and we love doing that show all the time. You know, it's a great show that we get to put on, and we love making a couple picks not only for NFL games, we also do some college games and add some of that in there as well. We've been doing that for years, and can't wait to have that back. We were just talking about that here the other day. So a lot of great stuff, you know, that's going to be continuing to go up online as well, in addition to KeonSports.com, also on the YouTube channel as well.
So I got a question. So with this before, it was for a big pit game. I forget what it was. Who do you think's winning that Thursday night game for the Backyard Brawl renewed there at Heinz Field?
You know, honestly, that one is that one's tough. So Thursday night game for the Backyard Brawl. I gotta say, you know, honestly, I'd have to think about that one, Dom. Here, you know, we're thinking so much about high school football. I haven't thought too much about college yet. I actually think that one's pretty up in the air on that.
Pitt's a 6.5 favorite.
And here's the punt from the end zone, and that one they are able to get it away, as nearly able to get to that. And that one coughed up off of the feet, scooped up by the Bulldogs in a tackle, and poor play there from number 11, James Toomey. Unfortunate for him because he's actually had a pretty good night. Just muffed that one and kicked it forward, and now the Bulldogs recover, and very fortunate for Olmsted Falls. And now with just over a minute left to go, they're going to have to not really do too much. They're going to be able to burn out this clock. So, Dom, you mentioned the Backyard Brawl, and I know you're going to want me to say Pitt.
Yeah, I'm a MAC writer. I'm unbiased. I'm being hopefully in Western Michigan there. So no longer a Pitt fan, though I have my biases.
Yeah.
You know, I just want the MAC teams to do great. That's all.
So we're talking about Pitt is a favorite over West Virginia right now.
Yeah, just 6.5, which usually when that line's set, it's a sucker bet, right? Because they want you to bet for that. You think, oh, they'll win by 7. But the under is West Virginia winning, or it's Pitt winning by like 3, 4, or 5. So that means they have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. I mean, no Kenny Pickett. It makes you think that obviously, maybe things might actually go West Virginia's way. So I'm going to say I'm leaning West Virginia right now, but things could easily change, you know, in not too long of a time as that is quickly approaching. So taking the knee there for the Bulldogs, and we now have a minute left, and you know, obviously they're going to be able to knee this one out and wrap up this game 32-7. And we're going to talk about the player of the game here. So tonight's player of the game is brought to you by Back Attack Snacks. They are a healthy option on the go and provide the very best option in healthy snacking. With everything from beef jerky to roasted almonds, they have it all. Visit them online at backattacksnacks.com. And for player of the game, I think a guy who obviously has put in the off-season work, finds himself at a different position than what he had been playing. Very impressed with what he was doing in a different spot compared to what we saw last year, and had a huge play on special teams. I'm going to have to say Jack Pinchek. I know he's a guy that you were talking about, possible player of the game candidate. But like I said, I'm going Pinchek there on that because of what he's done in the senior. A lot of credit for him. Off-season work translating to what he's done on the field here tonight.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I can kind of split between him and Conti, but Pinchek, that kickoff return basically sealed it for him.
Right.
Where Brunswick could have had the momentum, and it was cut off right there at the head. So that's beautiful. We had 118 yards total if you count that kickoff return. He had a 19-yard run, 13-yard, a 5, a 1, and then a 0-yard run we saw towards the end of the game. But I have 90. It's 80-yard kickoff run.
Right.
So that kind of that sealed the player of the game there for him. He was phenomenal tonight. A bit on offense, you give him the ball, you're sure to get at least 5 yards from him. He's a solid player all around, and one of those players that we're going to talk about for a while because of how hard he's worked in the offseason, and it's apparent of the product that he's put on the field here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about that, and congratulations to Pinchek as he gets named our Back Attack Snacks player of the game. We're going to take a really quick break here on the Keon Sports YouTube channel. We'll be right back. We'll do a little bit of a post-game wrap-up here. And again, so make sure to stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Travel by Mickey. Now is the time to make memories once again, and Mickey Beachler with Travel by Mickey is just the person to make all the arrangements for your dream vacation. Reach out to her at Mickey Beachler at mousemadesimple.com. Mickey, you get to experience all of the fun with zero hassles or stress of any kind. From a Disney cruise to a trip to the Greek Isles, she has every dream destination covered from liftoff to touchdown. Village Coffee and Creamery. From the founders of Nancy's Main Street Diner comes Village Coffee and Creamery. They have everything from dessert, lunch items, and coffee to ice cream and every kind of sweet treat you could think of. They are located at 486 Main Street in Grafton. Westside Flea. Ohio's favorite flea market and festival will be coming back this spring and summer once again. The Westside Flea has something for everyone and will be held at North Olmsted Park on August 20th and September 17th. You can find them on Facebook at Westside Flea to learn more.
And welcome back to the Keon Sports post-game show here at Brunswick Auto Mart Stadium. Cole McDaniel alongside Dom Clary, as see out there on the field. Again, the band is playing, and join arm to arm the Brunswick football team and swaying and listening to the band. Again, still unified as they do drop to 0-2, a tough one against the visiting Olmsted Falls Bulldogs. Mentioned the Bulldogs would be coming in here for revenge after a loss at home, game 2 of last season versus Brunswick. But really the Bulldogs put a good performance together, not only on offense, played well defensively, a couple big turnovers as well, and that's how they win this one 32-7. And the Olmsted Falls Bulldogs move now to 1-1. So far, like I said, the Bulldogs getting back on track. Some good things on film for the Blue Devils that they can walk away with, even though they dropped to 0-2, but a tough one for them, and they'll be able to regroup before we get to next week. Dom, I'm going to toss it over to you here just a little bit, and we'll talk about both here in the time being. For the visitors, let's look at the Bulldogs first. What did you see that they put together? I'm assuming it's something encouraging throughout the season, but we know they've got a tough SWC conference that they're going to be ramping up for as conference play begins here shortly.
So the biggest concern that you see with high school teams is, oh, the quarterback's gone, the running back's gone, yada yada's gone, right? And you think, is there a drop-off? No drop-off in sight. Not a single drop-off on this team. This is still a well-oiled Bulldog machine that we see here with the Bulldogs. Is as fast, as strong, as quick as ever. And it's right now, if you're a SWC team, you need to mark this team down, because I'm not going to say they're the team to beat, because Avon's a defending champs the past few years now.
And we saw Avon Lake last week, and they looked pretty good too.
They looked good just as strong as I would say as the Bulldogs did here tonight. So it makes you wonder, could we see a three-way race to the finish line? Like, we saw a two-way race last season. This year could be a little bit different. The middies maybe might be in the picture. I don't know what happened with Mid-Park tonight, but getting off that, Olmsted Falls, again, as dominant as they've ever looked here tonight with no drop-off in sight.
Yeah, absolutely, very possible. Now, how about the home team, the Brunswick Blue Devils? Like we talked about, some good things that went on film there at the end. But, again, that goal line stand at the end looked like they were going to maybe punch it again for a touchdown, but stuffed right at the half-yard line. Aside from that, that drive was actually rolling. They had some really good things that were put together. You saw Rock Sandich was actually able to start completing some passes. Really hadn't seen any of that in the first half. So what's their takeaway here as they move into next week?
So right now, if you're Brunswick, you look at Rock Sandich and you think, we have something here, right? It's raw. We don't know exactly where it will go. This is a young player with a lot of potential.
Right.
But how can we unlock it this season, right? Not next season or senior season. How do we unlock it now, right? We saw that in the second half where he became consistent, right? He brought his team in the red zone 3 times, once in the first half, twice here in the second half. He can be consistent, but how do you keep that for the remainder or the entirety of the game? Also, how do we give the ball to everybody, right? They kind of struggled with that. Nichols didn't get the ball till later in the game. Safeco was great later in the game. Get the ball to him more. Som was good as well. Mm-hmm. You have these players that are very good, but they're still trying to figure out who can ball for us and when can we call for them. Tonight answered a few of those questions, but a little too late, rather when they would have wanted it in the first half. So you answered a few questions tonight. You kind of know what you can do at some capacity. You know that defense is tough, but how do we take that to the next level? How can we compete with Medina? How do we compete with Menor? How do we compete with the team we saw last week as well, the Mustangs? How do we take this next level? That's your biggest question right now. How can we play our best brand of football for 4 quarters for the rest of the year? That might be a hard question to find out, but this team's capable of that, Cole.
That is for sure. So if you're wondering what's next on the slate here for Key on Sports and our broadcast coverage, week 3 of the regular season next week, we'll be at we'll be at North Royalton, as North Royalton is hosting Padua Franciscans. So something that we're excited for, and actually joining me on the color commentary, again, Brandon Soder, thank you to him over there. He did the brief halftime show with the recap for you, also handling everything with the video and all of that here today. He's going to be joining me as the color commentator, as I'll still be your play-by-play color commentator. Excuse me, the play-by-play commentator. Hey, we're getting to the end of the game, getting this all wrapped up, and at least we got through the whole thing, and I wasn't stumbling over my words there at that point. But be back and fresh here next week. Going to be a great week of coverage. Dom, safe travels. Enjoy your coverage as you're taking care of some MAC things and going to be on the road here for week 3. Can't wait to have you back in week 4. For everybody, again, who've watched and listened live on YouTube, make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you for everybody who also will watch this one back with the playback here on YouTube. And check out keyonsports.com. For myself, for Dom Clary and Brandon Soder, everybody have a wonderful night. Enjoy your weekend.